super good. Yeah, we're almost done with the semester basically, which is
Oh
great.
my God. Your
I
first semester
know.
of PhD.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like a real scientist now.
Are you doing finals?
We we have this one like big class where it's like all of biology, and every 2 weeks we have a test. And so we just have one more test left. And then they just
Every
average
two
all of our
weeks?
tests. I know. Yeah.
I guess that's good because then you're just pedal to the metal,
Yeah.
study a
So
chunk, know a chunk.
I know. So yeah. So what's ended up happening with these tests is that with each test I put in less effort. Because some of the tests have been the questions have come out of nowhere. And I was like, I could never have studied for this. So on this last test, I was like, minimal study effort because the questions are going to come out of nowhere. Can't study anyway. You want to know the questions they asked?
What?
They were the most straightforward questions ever. And I was like, oh, I could have known that one.
Oh my God. In high school, I had a teacher and he would give us like a test like every week or is like every class or something crazy. It was like a really high frequency like you're talking about.
Hmm.
And then he'd ask like what was the picture graphic on page 63?
That's so stupid. Why? So useless.
I know. So yeah, so then it's like the same thing. You start optimizing where you're kind of like, I'm gonna get some of these things wrong and I'm just gonna call it a day.
Yeah.
And then he would ask like you said, a straightforward one. You'd be like, ugh.
We're like, how was I supposed to know he was going to ask a reasonable question?
Well, so everyone's gonna want to know, did you know the straightforward answer?
Um, there is a lot of questions. So also how this class is set up is that each day it's a new professor. And so each professor has their own set of questions.
What?
And so I know, I know.
This is
And
weird.
I think that's kind of how I think a lot of the grad classes are taught though, where it's like everyone knows their one area of like expertise. And so they come in and they say, I'm going to teach you everything I know about the mitochondria. And the next guy comes in, he's like, here's everything I know about the nucleus.
Oh,
And
well,
so
okay.
yeah. So that makes sense. But then you never know the style of question, like you never get
Yeah.
used to anything. Which my takeaway from how this class is set up is I don't think the grades really matter all that much. But they kind of do. So so that's
If
how
you
I've
have,
gotten in this predicament.
yeah, if you have a small cohort, you're a small cohort, right?
It's actually pretty big. There's like 70 of us.
7D?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
So I was gonna
So they
say,
curve it at the end. I mean, it's been going good. It's been going fine.
yeah. Because sometimes if the cohort's too big, they actually don't want all of you to pass and they want some of you to like flunk out.
Hmm.
But it sounds like they want you to all pass.
Yeah, at this point, they've already invested money into us.
Yeah.
So so that's the other thing. Everyone passes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the other thing too with PhD is that a lot of times it's like whether you finish is if you can do you have to do like a dissertation or something like that or
Hmm.
like a research paper. It's like can you put together all of the things that you've been learning into a research paper that can get published or is of like enough caliber? And that,
Hmm.
so the grades along
Yeah.
the way are kind of just
Yeah.
for
For
your
fun.
information. How are you doing? Types of
Yeah.
things.
That's kind of the impression I've gotten.
Yeah.
So not too stressed.
Well, that's good because going into it, I think you were worried that people said like the first year is the most difficult and it's so stressful and all these things.
Yeah, and I think that might still kind of be true just because the first year you have the most like deadlines, because you have like a
Mm,
test every 2 weeks, like you have to always be doing that. But then after this year, you still have some classes, but it's not that many. And mainly
hmm.
you're just doing research. So,
Ooh,
and you make your own schedule basically.
love
You're
that.
kind of in charge. Yeah, kind of great.
Wow. Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to spend too much time because my author recap is like a couple pages long.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I know. I was getting to a point where I'm like, I'm just copying Wikipedia word for word, but this man, George MacDonald, I mean, he's very
Quite the
interesting.
figure.
Yeah.
Hmm. I just saw your emojis. Do you want to do author? What all are we gonna do? I feel like we need to tell the people
How we're doing it?
just an update. Well, yeah. Okay, so Candy and I had like 2 months of rations stocked up. Hey, you want to know when we're recording this? The Thursday before it comes out on Monday. You want to know how many rations we have left? Zero.
Zero.
Which
I
I think is for
know.
multiple reasons.
I know. Okay. Okay. So why weren't we meeting up for so long? I think I was out of town for a little bit.
I can name at least 3 reasons. One, you had a lot going on. Two, I also kind of had a lot going on. Three, we went from Frida McFadden to George MacDonald, and that was a really hard shift, and we didn't want to read the book.
I agree. I agree. I, it's a snooze fest. I'll be honest. But here we are 4 days before. And so it's like, we must talk about a book.
We must. I wouldn't have finished it unless we were recording. Not because I don't like it, but because it's like it didn't suck me in like Frida can. Just wasn't it was not the same kind of book. And we're not
You
the
can,
target audience either.
no, you can tell this book was written in the 1800s because they had a lot more time to just sit around and read. And
And the
just like,
4-year-olds are so eloquent.
oh my God. I know. I know. Well, it's like when you read Dickens and they spend
Mhm.
all this time describing the cobblestone, and you're like, why would anyone want that? And I'm like, because they don't have TV, they don't have internet, they have nothing to do except for work and toil.
I would love to read about some cobblestone.
Yeah, they're like, great, let me disassociate.
Well, I think at one point, I don't really know the whole history of this, but I think authors were paid per word or per page at one point.
Oh,
And so then you get books where they're like, let me tell you about the sky. Let me tell you about the grass. You need to really be there.
that would make so much sense. Well, I know
Hmm.
some books, like I don't know if it was Sherlock Holmes or I don't know. But I think they were written like they would publish one chapter at a time in like a newspaper or something.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then at the end of the 175 weeks, I guess, they would just like tape them all together and now it's a book.
Well, you know what? That's not too different from how we do shows on television, and then we sell them as a DVD pack back in the 90s.
Well, you know what? I guess that's true. And it's like, all right, if I had 1 week to read George MacDonald, okay, I could do one a week, but trying to do all, it was only 200 pages. And it's like a small size book.
Oh, you got the actual book.
Yeah, I did.
Oh my gosh. I wish I had the actual book.
No, you don't.
No, honestly, if you don't want the book, I would take it. Because
All right, you
I
little
was reading the
hoarder.
free PDF online. And that was also part of why I was procrastinating reading this book. I finished it on the Metro today. T, by the way. But it's because it was on a PDF and I didn't want to look at a screen anymore. I was like,
Uh,
please, can't look at a computer.
I know. That's why I bought it. It was like $5 or $6, and I was like, "All right, I'll buy it." So this
That's super
book,
worth it.
it's 230 pages, but it's a smaller. It's like the size of a tiny Kindle.
Yeah.
Like it, if it was like a normal size book, it would probably be like 200 pages, maybe. And even then, I was struggling.
Were there pictures in yours?
There is the original artwork on like the chapter.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Yeah,
That's cool. Oh, I
yeah.
like that.
Did you read the foreword by Ursula Le Guin?
I don't think I got a forward. I was reading from the Gutenberg Project.
Oh,
Are you
okay.
familiar?
Yeah, I think the Gutenberg project, I think that's what they use to base NLP models,
NLP?
natural language processing.
Oh, so like how computers learn how to like speak?
Yeah. Now maybe that's not okay. Maybe
Hope they
this is
didn't
different.
use hope they didn't use Princess and the Goblin. We shan't be doing that today.
Well, okay. So how natural language processing works is you basically back in the 90s, people would get these
Mhm.
books or documents and they would upload them. And then for each type of word, they would give it like a tag.
Oh.
Purple, color, dog,
Oh.
animal. And people just did this. That was their job.
They're training the robots.
They were creating the data sets that we now use for like when you're doing like search, when you're like doing like Google, that's all natural language processing. It's because these people in the
Interesting.
90s, yeah, did these tags and stuff. And you're like, wow.
Huh. So,
So
and then
like,
they got, no, you
oh,
finish.
go for it. Nope.
Oh, I was going to say, and then they got smart and then they just made us all do it for free so that we could log on to things. They said,
That's what I was
click.
just gonna say with the
Yeah.
pictures. Every time they
Now
do
we're,
it, I'm like,
I am not your slave.
I
At least
know.
pay me.
Yeah. I'm like, send me $1 every time I have to do this. Find all the bicycles. Get out of here.
This
Mhm.
is some good mental labor I'm giving you.
I know. I know. And it's like I'm in prison because I can't even like do it wrong because then I can't get in. So I have to do it.
Yeah, you can't even mess up the robots.
Yeah. Ugh. Okay. So what did you want to do? You wanted to tell people what we're doing?
Well, okay. I just feel like I'm kind of out of the groove because we haven't met in so long. But
I
then
know.
we sent each other emojis and I got so excited. I said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to pod. It's been so long."
I know. I
So,
know.
yeah, I don't know. What are we doing bookalytics? Are we just going to go straight to the author recap?
I mean there is a lot happening in Bookalytics because I wasn't allowed in for a long time.
Candy was fasting. She
I
took
well,
a
it turns out
hiatus.
it used to be called Spotify for podcasters, but now it's called Spotify for creators. They've been doing like a lot of like updates on their website.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and I had like the old one and they wouldn't let me in. It got to a point where I couldn't look in anymore. They said you can't know about the Bookalytics. And I like to look at it like 75 times a day. So that was really hard
Me
for
too.
me.
Yeah, Candy, it turned into my social media. I had to delete it off my phone because I'm like, this is just useless. I can't keep opening this app.
I know.
So
I keep checking it like a freak. Like
I know. It's like, yeah, you just keep looking like, oh, what else changed?
yeah. But so
Yeah.
now that I'm in the new one, like wow, they've really done a lot. So there's a lot to talk
Yeah.
about, but I'm worried about this author recap that it's gonna
I kind of think maybe we just go to the author recap, except do you want to say anything to F. Smith? She
we love
left.
you.
We do. I just want to say we love seeing your comments. They make us so happy.
Yeah. Oh, I will say I was listening to the last Housemaid on Monday
Hmm.
and I was just laughing so hard.
I love that series. Okay. Okay. I think we should just turn into a housemaid podcast at this point. Housemaid Secret is already our second most popular series, right after Housemaid 1. And
I,
it came out 5 days ago.
I know. I know. The people have spoken. That's all
This
they
is what
want
they
us to do.
like. I
That's what
I
they like.
know. I was also thinking, F. Smith, you are totally our like stock market tipster person because she said, "Hey, you guys should do Housemaid Secret." And we said, "Okay, fine, we'll do it." And then wouldn't you know it, the day after we release like episode number 1, Frida comes out and says, "I'm making a movie." And when you look at, there's a way to see how many times was your podcast like viewed. And
Yeah.
the day she announced that, our podcast went way up.
Way up. We have 17,000 listens now.
It's hilarious. It was, I think, what, 10,000 last time we potted? I don't know.
It,
It went up
it,
a
it
lot
was it was like yeah, we've been getting like hundreds a day just for Housemaid,
just for
part 1 and
housemaid.
2. And you're just like, "Oh my God."
I know. Oh my goodness.
Now,
I think it's hilarious.
what I'll say is while we did get a lot of positive feedback, we were getting kind of rating bombed a little bit
Mm.
in the beginning. Our rating has been tumbling. So if you're here, if you're listening and you haven't rated, we really need you. We need you to go on Spotify and give us a 5-star review because some people were throwing in some threes, maybe a one. Because
Bookalish.
I think some
Mhm.
people didn't realize that we really love Frida in her satirical way. And I think some people get a little um worried or protective, maybe.
I know. Honestly, I think we were a little harsh on episode 1, maybe. But
I
we
think
love
episode
Frida.
yeah, yeah. Hmm.
People need to come back for 2 through 4 where we just gush about how much we love this book.
I agree. We did get a new 5-star on Apple.
Wow. I actually just saw
Yep,
that. Just
I know.
checking the things.
Yep. So that's great. Um, yeah. So make sure you review. All right. Well, let's do our intro, then we'll do the book, and then we'll do the emoji, and then we'll do the summary. What do
We
you
got a
think?
lot of games to get.
Oh, we got to do something to make this snooze fest go. Like, oh my God.
Okay, let's get into it. Welcome
Okay.
to Bookalicious, a podcast where two sisters chat about books we're reading. I'm Chrissy,
And I'm Candace.
and today we are covering all of The Princess and the Goblin by George MacDonald.
Number one, every time you say George MacDonald, do you want to sing He Had a Farm,
Had a farm.
E-I-E-I-O?
It does just go so perfectly.
I even said it. I was like, oh, we're reading a book by George MacDonald. And Andrew was in the car and he was like, had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And I was like, oh, it's not just me.
I hadn't thought about that until I just said it just now, because I think that's the first time I've said it out loud.
Yeah.
And you're right. It does just make you want to burst into song.
Well, because a lot of times, at least in the US, if there's some variation of MacDonald, it's McDonald, like the Golden Arches,
Mm.
McDonald's, with it like a M-I-C. But this is
Oh, yeah.
MacDonald, like macaroni.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. You're right.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
Different form of Mac.
All right. Well, are you ready for this author recap?
Super ready. So are we going to go author recap first and then our
Mhm.
book? Yeah, that makes sense. Let's do it.
Yep. Okay. George MacDonald was born December 10th, 1824, nearly 200 years ago to the day.
Whoa. Happy birthday, George MacDonald.
I know.
We did this for you.
I know. Who knew? So timely. And he was born in Scotland. His dad was a farmer and a direct descendant of Clan MacDonald of Glencoe.
I don't know
So
what
in
that is.
Okay, so in Scotland, well, a lot of people wouldn't. In Scotland, before the English took over and all of that, like the original people that lived there, they had clans.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like kind of like the tribes, basically. So like in the
Okay.
Nordic, you have like the Vikings. In the Americas, you have the Native Americans with their tribes. Here you have the clans.
Okay.
Okay. So if anyone has watched Outlander, have you seen any Outlander?
No.
I would pass on it. I mean,
Oh,
the first
really?
couple seasons, first couple seasons are pretty good, but then you start getting to a point where you're like, we're in a spaceship, and not in a good way.
Not Frida's.
Not in a Frida way, and like a can't deal with this way. So anyway, so the reason why Outlander is important is because she falls back in time into like Scotland, and she gets like wrapped up in one of these clans, and so you kind of follow. It's like a historical period type of piece.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Clan MacDonald was part of I'm going to say it wrong. Jacobite? It looks like Jacob, I-T-E. Jacobite Rising of 1689. So the English had like kind of come in and they were like, we own this land now. And the clans were like, no, you don't. And the Jacobites, they were the ones who were like, we're going to get our independence. And so like they rose up and then they they fought. And so George MacDonald, he was part of Clan MacDonald, and they were like one of the big people that did this.
Cool.
Part of the
Okay.
uprising. Yep.
Wow.
So he was born 1824. So this happened 1689. So that's a delta of about like what, 100 years?
Yeah.
A little over.
Look at you
Okay.
and your math terms.
I know. So the Klan was targeted. They were like really like wiped out. So after they didn't win.
Yikes.
Surprise, surprise. Yeah. So then the English were like, now we got to get rid of you. So then in 1962, 4 years later, they like went in and they're trying to like do a clean sweep, right? But they didn't get everybody. And so then the Klan was like, we're going to muscle together. And then they tried again in 1715
Oh
and then
my gosh.
1745. Yeah.
Wow.
So the last Klan chief died in 1889.
Oh.
So let's just remember George MacDonald, he was born 1824. The last Klan leader died 1889, so 70 years later. But he didn't produce an heir. So the lineage died. But they picked a new one. I don't know how they decided. However, I didn't look into that. But the new clan was picked in January 2024.
What?
Yes. Yes.
What?
Alan MacDonald is the new chief of Clan MacDonald of Glencoe.
Wait. What have they been doing since then?
They've been picking.
You're kidding.
It was
no way. I will never again complain at how slow the U.S. can be at counting votes.
Okay, I didn't find out what they were doing. They were probably devastated that they kept losing to the English, and then there was probably like a, I don't know how to say the word, diaspora. You know, like when people
diaspora.
spread.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was probably some type of spreading, like people going, and then they're like, you know what? Let's like pull together. Outlanders here. They're bringing us to the forefront of people's minds. Let's capitalize. Yeah. So just last year, almost 1 year to the day.
What?
I
Oh
know.
my gosh. Wait, okay, what is the leader called? Is it just leader?
Alan MacDonald is new chief of name and arms of MacDonald of Glencoe.
What?
Yeah.
Wait. Alan. Okay. I'm okay. I mean, I trust. I'm trying to find something, but everything is from Alan from the 1400s.
Well, maybe that's how they picked him. Maybe he was one of the descendants. If you start
Wow.
with George MacDonald and then you click the links. Okay, so everyone, if any of this is wrong, this is all from Wikipedia. So do your own research.
Blame them.
Yep. And if you haven't ever looked at our Bookalicious tenets, one of them is that we have no fact check because we provide no facts. So,
but we wanted
repeat
to
this.
deliver a detailed recap.
A detailed recap of potential information, potential lies. Repeat at your own risk.
I'll be repeating it for sure.
Yes. Okay. So his dad was a farmer, direct descendant of this clan. I thought that was just so interesting.
That's super interesting.
His family was unusually literate for the time period, which, if you think about it, is probably because he was part of this really well-known clan. I would imagine they probably are very, probably have resources and money, whatever.
Makes sense.
So his uncles were Celtic scholars, Celtic being like, the original type of people who lived in Scotland.
Okay.
So they're Celtic scholars, editors of the Highland Dictionary. So Highland it's another type of term in Scotland. So they would kind of like go through and like create dictionaries, and a collector of fairy tales and Celtic oral poetry. So those are his uncles.
Cool.
Yep. His step uncle was a Shakespearean scholar. His cousin was a Celtic academic, and both his father and mother were well educated and big readers. His dad.
Makes sense.
Yep. Dad like Isaac Newton, Charles Darwin, and his mom knew several languages.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So this is in like the 1800s. So, I mean, yeah,
that's
super cool.
George MacDonald had more than just a farm.
Well, his dad was a farmer.
Is this what it's based off of?
Let's look.
Probably not.
Well,
Um,
Old MacDonald Had a Farm, sometimes shortened to Old MacDonald, is a traditional children's song about a farmer and various animals he keeps. We knew that one. It was
I never knew.
it was published in 1706 in
Okay.
England. I mean,
Why don't we say it's the same one? We just said we
why
don't have any
not?
facts here. Why don't we make our own facts? It's about George MacDonald.
I mean, honestly, it could be. We don't know yet. Let's
Yeah.
see. It was probably written by Thomas Ufrey for an opera in 1706 before existing as a folk song in Britain, Ireland, and North America for hundreds of years. Do you imagine going to
Wow.
the opera and they start singing Old MacDonald?
I would love that.
You go to Italy, you go to the opera, you go to England, and you go to a totally different kind of opera.
So where are the banjos? Why can't I understand what you're saying?
Oh my God. Okay. So George was always very sick. He had asthma and then also tuberculosis, which
Yikes.
TB, it comes back to a lot of his immediate family members died because of
Oh
TB.
no. You
Yeah,
want to hear a fact about tuberculosis?
I do.
Guess who's writing a book about tuberculosis? Ready for
You,
pre-sale. Oh, no, not me.
Josh,
Your other favorite author.
John Green?
Yes.
No,
It all goes back.
no. I'm not reading that book.
Honestly, I bet it's going to be amazing. I'm
Unless it's
excited.
about George MacDonald, then maybe I would.
He might be in there. I don't know.
Ugh. Okay.
Okay, continue.
So George MacDonald grew up in a very like mixed religious household. So he grew up in a congregational church with a Calvinist flavor. So congregational churches, didn't know what that was, but it basically most of them merged into like a Presbyterian Church of England. His paternal grandfather, this is direct quote from Wikipedia, was a Catholic-born fiddle-playing Presbyterian elder.
That's a fantastic line. I hope that made it into the opera.
Okay, so his
What a list.
grandfather, Catholic born, then turned into a Presbyterian. That grandfather's wife was an independent church rebel.
What does that mean? I need a book about her.
I know. She had no Wikipedia page, unfortunately.
Oh my gosh.
His aunt was a Gaelic speaking radical who became a moderator of the Free Church. His stepmom, who he was really close with, was a daughter of a priest of the Scottish Episcopal Church.
Okay. This is
All
a big
right.
mix.
Yeah. So he has all the different types. He graduated from King's College Aberdeen in 1845 with a degree in chemistry and physics.
Wow, what a guy.
Yep. So the College of Aberdeen was founded in, I put 1895, but that's not right. I think it's like 1495. It's one of the first colleges or universities in like the UK.
I believe it.
Mm-hmm. All right. I don't have the year anymore, but I think it was like the 1400s, which I just thought that was so cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah. So he was, even though he got his degree in chemistry and physics during this time, he was struggling regarding his faith. And according to his son, who wrote like a biography on him, he had wanted to pursue becoming a doctor, but he didn't have like enough money to do so.
Hmm.
So then he decides 3 years later, I'm going to go into theology. And he went to Highbury College for congregational ministry.
Okay.
After he graduated, he became a minister for the Trinity Congregational Church in 1850. And his shtick was, I'm going to preach on God's universal love, and everyone was capable of redemption.
Cool.
Yeah. So different from Calvinist, which if people are unfamiliar, how the Calvinist doctrine is kind of like you are pre-selected before you're born if you are going to go to heaven or not. And George MacDonald felt like that was inherently unfair. He didn't like that. Unfortunately, people did not like his messages. And so the church cut his stipend in half.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then he ended up not pursuing that. He was like, okay, I guess this is not for me. They don't want to hear about
Oh,
God's universal love.
interesting.
They want more
Whoa.
fire and brimstone. That's what they needed. So he got married while he was a minister. He got married to Louisa Powell in 1851. He had 11 children.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah. So Louisa was very busy being pregnant and then taking care of the kids. And then his family became like his descendants that also had some like, high society ties. His daughter Mary was engaged to this very famous painter, Edward Robert Hughes. And then his grandson, Philip MacDonald, became a Hollywood screenwriter.
Wow.
Yep.
That's cool.
Here's TB, killed several of his children, four of his children, one granddaughter, and then one daughter-in-law.
Oh my
So,
gosh, really?
yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So after he left his church job, he's like, I'm going to take some time traveling, trying to get, healthier. And then he's like, you know what? I'm going to become an editor. So then he became an editor.
Okay.
And then this is kind of what started his writing career. So MacDonald is often regarded as the founding father of modern fantasy writing.
I saw that right before we met. I was like, what? I didn't know that.
Yep. So MacDonald, this is a quote that I really like that he says, I write not for children, but for the childlike, whether they be of 5 or 50 or 75.
Oh.
Yep. So his most famous works is The Fantasies, The Princess of the Goblin, At the Back of the North Wind, and Lilith.
Hmm.
MacDonald served as a mentor to, who do you
J.R.
think?
Tolkien. C.S. Lewis? Both?
You're really close. A Mad Hatter.
Oh, Carol, Lewis Carroll.
Lewis Carroll. Yes.
Wow. Wow,
Yes.
wow, wow.
So it was
Interesting.
it was MacDonald's advice and enthusiastic reception of Alice by his kids that convinced Carroll to submit Alice for publication.
Whoa. That's
Mhm.
wild. Alice in Wonderland had some kooky parts.
Yes. Yes. I'm sure if we read that, we would be like, this isn't insane. I mean, just the movie was insane. I could only imagine like the actual book.
Yeah, I wonder what that would be like. We could add it.
I don't know. I think that one's long.
Yeah, I think it wouldn't grab us like Frida does.
I don't think so. So Lewis Carroll, I didn't know this, but he was a famous photographer and he really liked to photograph MacDonald and his 11 children.
Wow. Wait, okay, so he had 11 kids after four of them died, or he had 11
He had
kids and then
11
four of them died?
total.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Some of them
Yeah.
died young, but a lot of them lived, 30s and 40s. So MacDonald used fantasy as a literary medium for exploring the human condition, which greatly influenced C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien.
I knew I had read that on a Wikipedia page somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So The Princess and the Goblin was adapted into an animated film several times, once in the 1960s and again in 1992. But unfortunately for the producers of The Princess and the Goblin, 1992 is when Walt Disney came out with The Lion King.
Lion
So
King.
all the kids went to see that, and that was a total flop.
Oh, sad. That's like musicals that came out when Hamilton came out. No one knows
Oh
about
my
them.
God. Yeah, forget it. You have Elton John doing a ballad for The Lion King compared to Snooze Town of Princess and the
Stomping on
Goblin.
goblin feet.
Stomping on, yeah, oh my God, forget it.
For the record, I did like the book.
We'll find out. Just kidding. Okay. So let's do the emoji game.
Oh, is that it?
That's it. I guess
I
I
mean,
thought
it
I
was
had
like,
more.
well, it's been about like 25 minutes probably.
Wasn't that so interesting though?
That was super interesting. Yeah, I'm really glad we went through all that.
Yeah, I know. And I was just
Fascinating.
thinking, I was like, you think like MacDonald, Lewis Carroll, Tolkien, all of these like incredible, prolific writers, just all like hanging out, probably having a glass of wine.
Isn't that cool? No, I do know C.S. Lewis and Tolkien, they were part of the Inklings, which was like a writing club. Have you heard of this before?
No.
Yeah, I don't know who else was in it, but it was all these writers and they'd get together at like pubs and stuff and just talk about story ideas and talk about life things. And that's just so cool.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Isn't
Wow.
that like you imagine like you and your like friend group just turn into just this behemoth of experts in your industry?
Isn't that cool? Yeah. And then you're just
Yeah.
like friends. Like I feel like they weren't, I don't know. I don't think they were trying to do it to be like, I'm going to be the best at this. They're just like, I like doing this.
Yeah.
Just living their life.
Yeah. I
It's
agree.
great. Big fan.
Okay. Let's do the emojis.
Okay. Do you want to go first or me?
Why don't okay. Should I look at your emojis and try to guess what they are? You should just tell
Oh,
me.
yeah, that's kind of fun. That's kind of fun. Also, we came up with a name for this. Do you remember it?
Oh, picture this.
Yeah. Yeah. I almost didn't remember it before this.
Picture this. Okay. So Chrissy, describe the emojis and then I'll try to guess what you were thinking about it.
Okay. I put a little girl emoji, a sun emoji, the monocle emoji where he's like, little eyepiece.
Thinking.
Yes. And then the really happy cat emoji.
Okay. So the little girl, probably Irene, the sun, because they're the sun people,
Mm.
the thinking face, because you're like, where is this going? And the happy cat, I have no idea. All's well that ends well, maybe.
Do you want me to explain it? Yeah, I think I should
Yeah,
probably explain
explain
it
it.
now. Okay. Well, okay. So maybe we need to define the rules of the emoji game because part of this was like how I felt about the book, not so much what happened in the book.
All right. Well, let me try again then.
Okay.
You feel childlike.
Hmm.
Then you feel like you're in the sun. Maybe we're in a rocket ship into the sun.
Okay.
Now you're wondering where we're going, the monocle. And now you've turned into a cat and you're excited because it's over.
Oh my gosh, how did you know that it's over? I want to be a cat who can't read anymore. No. Okay. So little girl emoji. I mean, some of the board actually you weren't really close on me, but that's okay. So little girl emoji because this is definitely like kids book. I liked what you said. I felt childish. Yeah, it's like you kind of do need to channel your inner child to really get into the book. So yeah, like that. And also the target audience was definitely, 5-year-olds, I think.
Yes. Yes.
Sunshine, because everything is just so sunshiny and happy in this book.
Oh,
Because even
okay.
when things go wrong, it's only for like 2 sentences and they get out of it really quick. So
Yes.
nothing ever really goes too bad. Um, Monocle, because there were some parts where I was like, interesting. And I think some things when you're reading it today, it's like, that's a little strange. Like with the grandma. I feel like you probably had those same feelings. Yeah. But then I was like, but it's the little kid's book. And like I'm just reading into it wrong,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
still had a monocle sometimes. And then happy cat, I just wanted a really happy emoji, and the faces weren't doing it for me. So I chose the cat.
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay. So mine was a foot, like the actual foot, like a podiatrist foot.
What else would it
Then,
be?
well, because I have 2 feet in here.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
So
got it.
one's a foot. The other is a sleeping face. The next
Mystery.
one, the next one is a devil, then a crown, and then the feet with the footsteps.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So 1 foot, I'm guessing has to be the goblins because their feet are all tender and soft. Uh, no?
No, it is. It is. I
Oh,
just like. All right, keep going.
okay. Sleeping emoji because it was a snooze fest.
Yep, you got that
Devil
one.
emoji. I'm thinking also for the goblins. Could
Hmm.
maybe be because they thought Curdy was kind of sneaky, a little devilish. Or maybe
Hmm.
Lootie. She had some moments that weren't great, but I think probably the goblins.
Hmm.
The crown, because Irene is a princess and maybe Curdy is a prince. Don't know.
Okay.
And then the plural footsteps. Maybe because they're either going on a journey or because that's how the whole book ended. They had to stomp on their feet.
Okay. So the first foot is that my initial thought was, wow, we're obsessed with feet in this book.
Frida had teeth. George has
Yeah.
feet.
George, he's all about these feet. Like, oh my God. Okay. Then Snooze-fest, you got that one. The Devil in the Crown was because I thought for sure the grandma was evil.
No.
I was like, she's evil. She's sending this little girl into the goblin pits of hell. And then the last one was because once again, the feet show up, but this time I really wanted to accentuate the toes because the evil queen goblin had 6 toes.
Her feet became very important in this.
Oh my God. I have a lot of thoughts about these feet.
I'm so excited to hear them.
Okay.
Okay, well, do you want me to summarize the book and then talk about things?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So this is a summary I found online. Thank you,
Oh,
Google.
good.
It's better than what I could write. Okay. So this is of the whole story. So it's a little long, but not too long. All
Okay.
right. 8-year-old Princess Irene lives in a society of sun dwellers, aka those who live above the ground, and goblins, those who live underground. Although they are all people, those who live underground have evolved into hideous looking individuals because of the lack of sun. The goblins sleep during the day and only come out at night. Because of this, sun dwellers make sure their doors are locked and they are safely inside by night. After Princess Irene meets her great 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 grandmother, now called grandmother, she learns that few others can see her grandmother, and most don't believe that the grandmother's real, even when looking at her. Princess Irene meets a 12-year-old miner named Curdy when he rescues her from goblins after Irene and her nurse, Lootie, stay out on the mountain after dark. Princess Irene returns the favor and rescues Curdy after he is captured by goblins by Princess Irene following an almost invisible thread that her grandmother made for her. Yet when Irene tries to introduce Curdy to her grandmother, Curdy cannot see her. When Curdy's parents talk to him about the incident, he feels ashamed and realizes that even if he can't see something, it doesn't mean someone else can't see it. In time, Curdy figures out that the goblins intend to kidnap Irene and force her to marry their goblin prince. Unable to warn Irene of the impending danger, Curdy, with the help of Irene's grandmother, defeats the attacking hordes and finds Irene safe in Curdy's mother's arms. He no longer doubts Irene's stories, and the whole book ends happily ever after. Irene's dad comes back, and his dad thanks Curdy and says, "Oh my gosh, you're incredible." And Curdy says, "Yes, I know, but I can't come work with you because I need to take care of my parents." And the king was like, "What a nice boy." And it all ends happily
The
ever after.
end. So I was flipping through my book looking at some of my lines. I might have missed it. Did you mention the feet?
No, I didn't. I didn't write the summary.
Okay. Why don't
Okay,
why
let's
don't
fill
you
in some
explain
things.
the feet? People need to know about these feet because we're gonna be talking about it a lot.
Oh my gosh, Olive Candy's notes are on the feet.
They're like literally.
Okay. So yeah, the summary was pretty good high level thing of what happened. Getting more into some of the specifics. So there's these goblins or like evil little monsters that live underground. Everyone's scared of them. Some important things to know about the goblins. One, their heads are very, very hard. So if you hit them, they don't even feel it. But their feet are very, very soft. Not only that, the goblin feet don't have any toes, and they think toes are so hideous, which is why the sun dwellers wear shoes all day because they're like, of course, their toes are hideous. Of course, they want to cover them. So there's a
Yes.
big scandal because the queen gnome, she wears shoes. And she says, oh, it's because of tradition. The queen always wears shoes. And that's partly true because the queen has been a sun dweller for the past few generations. But this queen says, I don't have toes. Anyways, turns out she does have toes.
She
Aha.
has
And so they find
6.
out she has 6. Oh my gosh. We never find out about the other foot, but one foot has 6.
And so she wears granite shoes.
Yeah, that's like her weapon. She stomps around on people.
It, it's crazy to me because I'm like, why don't they all wear shoes? If their feet are so soft, how are they walking in these mines?
Yeah, honestly, kind of a good point. Not sure. Maybe just the top is soft and the bottom
It's
isn't.
leathery.
Yeah.
Have you ever had like an ingrown toenail?
Oh, yeah.
And it's like if it even like even if it touches like just a little bit, it's like so painful.
Yes. That's a
That's
great analogy.
that's how I was imagining all of their feet.
Oh, just ingrown toenails everywhere, but they don't have
Yeah.
toes.
Yeah. Just the whole thing is an ingrown toenail type
Oh
of
my
thing.
gosh.
And it's
That
so
makes sense.
painful. Yeah. So I would put on a shoe.
I don't think it doesn't sound like their feet really ever come up because it no one knows that the feet are the softest part except Curdy, and then Curdy tells everybody.
But
So
like
apparently it's not common knowledge.
no, it's not common knowledge, but it's like for the goblins, like walking around a mine on rocks, like that's not soft. But like you said,
That's a good
maybe the
point.
I don't know. I just it seems like wearing shoes is the way to go.
It seemed to work very well for the queen. Toes or not, she was murdering people with her shoes.
I know. I was like, this is crazy. Okay, so that was something that I was like, this makes no sense. And it's like very strange, but maybe it's supposed to be like comical kind of
I
thing.
think it's a little bit so okay, so he's starting the genre of fantasy, which is kind of crazy. And so I think
Yeah.
some of it is just a little like absurd, you know? We're just like, it's crazy.
Well,
That's part of it.
I was also thinking since he's starting like the genre of fantasy, I guess up until this point, it's like people didn't write crazy things.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. So he's like, why would I make any of it make sense? If we're gonna go fantasy, we're going all in.
We're
Their
going all
feet
in.
are fine in the mines.
And it was pretty silly, like some of the things. And
I thought it was so funny.
I did think it was funny, but I was just like, why are they not wearing shoes? These
Yeah.
horrid little goblins.
Okay, the other thing to know about the goblins is that the people, the sun dwellers are scared of the goblins and like, oh, how do we fight off the goblins if they come after us at night? Okay, well, it turns out one, their feet are soft. Two, they don't like rhymes. And so if you just start singing these made up nonsense rhymes, they're like, I hate it. And then they run away. I love it.
I mean, that was pretty funny. That was pretty
I think
funny.
that's so great. I think it's just so good as a children's story too, because it's like the violence isn't even violence. Like you're stopping on their feet. Like this is good for all ages. You sing crazy rhymes to make them run away. I
Yes.
love it.
Yes.
Yeah, big fan.
Okay. So grandmama
Mm.
who lives up in this tower, she eats like pigeon eggs and only only Irene, the princess, can see her. What do you make of her? Who is she? What is she doing?
So, okay, so she gives me like godlike kind of vibes as a character in the story. She like knows
Yeah.
what's going on. She takes care of Irene. She does all these supernatural things. Um, I don't know. I was thinking like maybe Irene's family has like has a magical line. Like maybe all the women are kind of magical or something. because we
Yeah.
don't know Irene's mom. And it does come up at one point where the king says something like, "Oh, your mother's still basically like, your mother's still in a land far, far away." And Irene's like, "Is she coming back?" And he's like, "I don't think so." So I got the impression like she died and Irene just doesn't know.
I thought she was the Goblin Queen.
No. You think? Oh,
You
I
see,
think
I
that's a
thought
good idea.
in
Oh,
my
that's a great
original,
idea.
yeah, my original thought was that the Goblin, her mom is the Goblin Queen, and they were going to go grab her to like, she's like, I'm tired of sharing custody with your dad. My turn. You live here now.
Oh, okay. So Irene's mom was actually not a very nice woman. And she like, well, but that would mean that Irene's mom would then have to go marry the Goblin King. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I mean that's not what it was, but that's what I was thinking at the
Well,
time.
there's a sequel though, isn't there?
Yeah, Curdy and Irene, or Curdy and the
That's not
princess
as
or
good of a
something.
name as
The princess and Curdy.
yeah, Curdy itself is just kind of a weird name.
I know. I always think of like curdles.
Cheese. Oh,
Yes, cheese
little cheese
curds.
curdy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that could be interesting. That could be super interesting. I was also thinking, like, is Curdy's mom also Irene's mom? But like all these, I don't think so. That doesn't make sense.
No, it is weird because you're like, what happened to the mom?
Is
And
she in
like,
the sky? She's gonna become the next grandmama?
well, the king knows about grandmama because Irene comes up to him and she's like, I met grandmama up in the stairs and nobody believes me. And he's like, he turns like as white as a ghost and he's like, oh, that's not good. And then
Oh,
he just like keeps going. And I'm like, that's why I was like,
I
this woman is evil.
don't think so. That's not what he said. He likes grandmama.
So, okay, here's some things where I'm like, grandmama is evil. So, first, page 12. So, this is when Irene first sees her and she sees her spinning on her wheel. And she's like, come in,
Mhm.
my dear, come in. I'm glad to see you. And then it says, uh, Irene didn't hang on to the handle of the door and stare without moving, as I have known some who ought to have been princesses, but were only rather vulgar little girls. She did as she was told, stepped inside the door at once and shut it gently behind her. And I was like, that's how you get kidnapped.
I know with our 21st century lens, we're like, oh no, don't lock yourself into a stranger's room.
Yeah. And then she's like, so then Irene, I mean, she's 8, but she's doing the Lord's work. She's investigating this queen. And she's like, well, what do you eat? And she's like, well, I keep poultry of sort. And she's like, what do you mean? And then she's like, well, I have these chickens. And she's like, do you kill a chicken? She's like, I never kill a chicken. So then Irene's like, well, then what are you eating? And then she says, oh, well, I had bread and milk and egg. I dare say you eat their eggs. Wait, I'm sorry. Let me repeat this. So then the queen is like, Irene, well, what do you eat? And then she's like, oh, well, I eat bread, milk, and eggs. And then this is what the queen says. She's like, yes, that's it. I eat their eggs. It's like lies. You're sucking their souls.
She's like, what do normal people eat? What do normal
Yeah.
people eat?
She's like, oh, yeah, I eat pigeon eggs. And then at the end of that chapter, she's like spinning her thing. And then the narrator says, about this spinning of hers, I will tell you more another time. Guess what she was spinning? And I was like, lies.
That's so funny. Okay, my guess was a shroud, which is like the burial cloth thing.
Oh,
Because I only say that because we had read the Odyssey for one of my classes, and Odysseus goes on his journey and his wife is left at home, and she's like, I will marry one of you fine suitors once I finish making this burial cloth for my husband. But what they don't know is every night she unweaves it. So she's been just weaving it for years and years and years. Anyways, but no one knows what she's weaving. Or no, actually, I guess they do. I mix that with another story. But anyways, I thought of a shroud.
so she's so she she weaves it every day and then she undoes it so that she doesn't have to like do anything else.
No, so that she doesn't have to marry the gross suitor men who want to marry her. She's still wait. She's like, I think my husband's still alive and he's coming back. And so she said,
I
let
feel
me just finish this real quick.
like after she's been doing that for years, they're not like, how are you not done?
It's
That's
a really
crazy.
nice shroud. There was another dialogue in this beginning between Grandmama and Irene. I just thought it was so funny. So Irene says something like, who are you? And then she says, I'm your great great grandmother. What's that? I'm your father's mother's mother. Oh dear, I can't understand that. I dare say not. I didn't expect you would. But that's no reason why I shouldn't say it. Oh no, answered the princess.
That was
So
funny.
funny.
So Lottie is Irene's nursemaid
Lootie
and Lootie. Lootie.
sounds goofy.
Yeah, and she kind of gets abused by the princess a little bit.
She kind of does. I know. I felt kind of bad for Lootie. I'm like, no one was respecting Lootie over here. She doesn't even have a respectable name. Lootie?
No. Rise with booty.
She's got to do something to make extra money.
Yeah, so after Irene meets her beautiful grandmama, she starts telling Lootie about how beautiful she is. And then what does she say?
Oh, I have it written down if you need it.
Go for it.
Okay. Um, so yeah, she's saying how beautiful she is, and Lootie was like, said something like, don't talk about that or whatever. And Lootie says, you said I wasn't so pretty as that, as my beautiful grandmother. Yes, I did say that. And I say it again, for it's quite true. Oh, she said something like, oh, she was way prettier than you are, Lootie. And Lootie's like, that's not very
Yeah.
nice. And then she's like,
Yeah.
but it's true.
And I'll say it again.
Say it again. Like, oh my gosh. That's where I was like, this book is hilarious. I love it.
I was like, this is so rotten.
I know. Okay, I had another line, another Lootie Irene line, where I
Oh
was like, oh
no.
my gosh. So after this, Lootie and Irene go on a walk because it's a beautiful sunny day. And then they stay out too late. And that's a
Mm-hmm.
problem because gnomes or the gnomes? Yeah. The gnomes come out at night and they want to like attack you and eat you. Okay. So Ludi realizes it's getting dark. She's like, we got to get back. But at this point, they're really far away from the castle. They have to like run down the mountain. And Irene has been very sheltered and doesn't know that goblins exist. So she doesn't know to be scared. And then at one point, they're walking, and Irene goes, look, look, Ludi, don't you see that funny man peeping over the rock? I was like, I would shrivel up and die. I would be so terrified. Like, oh my gosh.
Okay, so another thing that doesn't make sense is that they're like very insistent on not letting Irene know about these goblins. And it sounds like the king knows that the goblins are gonna come and snatch his little girl.
It
Because
does?
because he's like, you can't be out after dark. Don't let her know about the goblins. Don't keep the windows open. It to me, it was giving like that was kind of my vibe. I don't know. It just seemed like the king knew more of what was going on.
Wait, okay, Candy, you might totally be onto something with that and what you said earlier. Because my first impression of all those things was that like goblins are just bad news for everybody. And so he
Yeah.
wants to keep, her safe. But then it comes up later that the goblins have this evil plan to kidnap Irene and make her marry the prince. Okay.
Yeah.
But I realized that when Irene and her dad are talking about Irene's mom, Irene is wearing this beautiful ring from the grandmother.
Yeah.
And she asks her dad, she said, where did I get this ring? And he goes, it's from your mom. And she said, why isn't it hers now? She does not want it now, said the king, looking grave. Why doesn't she want it now? because she's gone where all those rings are made. And where do you get
You
jewels but in
see?
the mines? Okay, but then here's the next part. And when shall I see her? Asked the princess. Not for some time yet, answered the king, with tears, and tears came into his eyes. So maybe she is the gnome, the goblin queen. Maybe she left them.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That was kind of like what I was thinking. And then I was like, well, that's weird that she wants him to marry her son, but then it's her stepson. So I'm like, well, maybe that's okay.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting.
I wonder if anyone else thinks this.
I know. Are
They
we
say
awful?
no,
Are
it's
we the weird
not.
ones?
Okay, they say the narrator clearly states that the Princess Irene has lost her mother.
No, no, that was not clearly stated. She has gone to where the rings are made. You get
In the
fine
ground?
jewels.
Maybe that
Yeah.
means she's dead.
Oh my gosh, that's even worse.
Yeah, some something's in here. And I'm like, this is weird.
I'm switching my PhD topic. Researching Irene's mom instead.
Yeah. Because it was also weird because it's like the king knew about grandmama being in the house. He was not weirded out by that.
Because I think she visits like all the special royal families, or like she's part of their family, right? Like she helps them. So I think she's helped the king, right?
Yeah, I guess so. It's just like it just seemed like whenever grandmama would come up, the king would get like, "Oh no, this isn't good."
Oh, I didn't get that feeling. That's interesting.
Like like that ring incident basically, where it's like, "Oh, she got the like in my mind how I'm thinking of it is that there's been some predestined fate that's going to happen to Irene, i.e., she's going to get taken in by the goblins, and he's
Oh,
kind of like watching the signs slowly tick by, kind of like Rapunzel.
oh,
Or no, it wasn't Rapunzel. Maybe it was Sleeping Beauty.
oh,
Yeah, Sleeping
Sleeping Beauty.
Beauty
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
with like this, and she has the spindle too. Even she's spinning. And so they
Oh,
burn all the spindles because he's trying to like escape her fate.
okay.
And that was kind of
Yeah.
the feeling I was getting where he has her like kind of in this little house that he barely ever goes to. And then he never wants her to go outside. And then he's seeing the signs that her fate is marching forward, even though he's trying not to.
Oh, that's super interesting.
I don't think that's what it
Huh.
was. I don't see that anywhere about this book, but that was kind of my
But
vibes.
that's kind of an interesting read on it.
Yeah.
I kind of took it, I kind of read it the different way, where like grandma's got Irene covered, and the king is just doing his normal dad duty of like, well, you should keep my 4-year-old safe because she's 4, you know? I didn't see him being like overly scared for her.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Just the fact that he had such an uh intense fear of the goblins, but it's like Curdy's out there spitting rhymes.
Yeah, he's doing rap battles with the
Yeah, he's doing
goblins.
rap battles against these goblins in the mines. He's a 12-year-old. His dad would leave him there overnight so that he could mine even more.
It's different for the poor folk.
I know.
Honestly, there's a lot of lines where I'm like, oh my gosh.
I know. Curdy's 12 and he's like, Dad, let me work all night. I need to find out about these goblins. And his dad was like, all right, you do you, boo. I'll see you in the morning.
I know. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Yeah, okay. So Curdy and his dad are both miners. So they spend all day in the mines, and the goblins live in the mines, but the miners are sure to like, not disturb them or whatever. But yeah, Curdy ends up getting he's really courageous, and he's like, I'm gonna find out what's up with these goblins. And so he starts exploring the caves at night. And
Mm-hmm.
that's when he finds out that they have this whole devious plan to kidnap the princess, and destroy the town, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Okay, one line about that made me laugh so much about the princess coming to their little like hovel was let me see. Okay, so the princess gets rescued. So at one point the goblins come and they like infiltrate the castle. This is towards the end of the book. And Irene follows her grandmother's magic thread and it brings her all the way to Curdy's house. And so
Mm-hmm.
Curdy's mom is there. So now Curdy's mom is taking care of Irene while the goblins are taking over the castle. Okay. And then um and then Curdy, he defeats all the goblins and he's like, I need to find the princess. And then he ends up following the magic thread all the way to his house and he sees Irene and his mom there. And he's like, oh, good, they're here. And then he was like, the house was a mess because it had all this water had gone into it. So it's like flooding and it's all muddy and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And he's like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And then she goes, I never had such fun, said the princess, her eyes twinkling and her pretty teeth shining. How nice it must be to live in a cottage on the mountain. And she's like in this like little dump, which is like nice perspective for her, but also just made me laugh where she's like, this is so fun to play poor people.
I know. I know. She's literally like privilege personified, walking around.
But she's so nice to where it's like she's not a snooty rich person, except to Lootie.
Except Lootie. She's snooty to Lootie. That's for sure. Well, so like when Lootie and her are walking, Lootie's like, we need to go back. And the prince is like, no, let's keep going. And she's like, all right, well, you're my boss, so I guess. And then they get caught up with the goblins. And then she's like, Lootie's like, I'm gonna lose my freaking job now because I let you get out here at night. And then she's like, don't worry, Lootie, like I got you covered. But then later on, she does something with her dad where she's like, and Lootie even let me get caught by the goblins. And you're like, oh.
Well, okay. So at one point, so Irene discovers her grandmama. She tries telling Ludi. Ludi doesn't believe her, and Irene's upset. And so this happens a few times. And at one point, Irene is like, well, Ludi doesn't believe me and thinks I'm making up stories. And she said, I don't think that's very fitting for my caretaker to not believe me. I think I need a new caretaker. And so then there's this 4-year-old, and she like just fired her nurse and she calls up all the servants. She says, which one of you is going to be my new caretaker? And then Ludi like falls on the ground. She's like, please don't fire me. And then Irene's like, okay, I guess I can give you another chance. I'm
She's
like,
so
my
that
gosh.
that scene, I was like, you are so manipulative. Like, oh my God.
Whoa. Whoa, Irene.
So what do you make of Grandmama? She starts off and she's always beautiful, but she starts off and she's old. She's like
Hmm.
Diane Keaton.
What?
But you know Diane Keaton?
I'm sure I do.
Where it's
Oh,
like she's a silver-haired fox, but she still looks great.
okay, yeah.
But
Yeah,
then
yeah.
as time goes on, she becomes like younger and younger.
Mm. Hmm. I don't know. What is that about?
See,
I'm not really
this
sure.
whole time I was like, this lady is so evil. I was like, she's stealing like her life force.
Oh, she's sucking it up from Irene or from
Yeah.
Irene's mom.
Oh, yeah. She's spinning a little spider web and her mom's inside and she's
Oh
sucking her
my
life force right
gosh.
out.
Each time she sucks up another life, she becomes another great.
Oh my God. Well,
uh,
so this scene made me laugh so hard with Grandmama because she's been spinning this thing, her web of lies, whatever you want to call it.
no, she's a good grandma.
She's a good grandma. And so Irene is like, what is that? And she's like, it's a gift for you. And she's like, look at it, hold it. And she's holding it. And
Yes.
then she's like, oh my God, I love it. And then she tosses it into the fire.
the
The
Grandmama
ball,
tosses it
the
into a
grandmama
fire.
tosses, yeah, grandmama tosses her present. And then Irene's like, why did you do that? And she's like, because I wanted to.
She did say something weird. She's like, well, it's not your gift to keep or something like that. It's like, what? And then she takes it out of the fire and it's like beautiful and rosy and stuff. And Irene's like, oh, it's safe. And then the grandmama opens her drawer, puts it in and closes it. Then Irene's like, what?
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
Did you
Yeah,
ever
grandmama had
see,
some bangers.
did you ever, did you ever see the Flutterby fairy goes into the fire?
No.
Okay,
What is this?
let me see. Let me see if I can share my screen.
That is great.
So what happens is that this little girl, she's 5, she's demoing how to do her Flutterby fairy, and it has like a spinner thing, and then it spins in the air, and it's supposed to float and then fall back to the floor. But it's Christmas time, and it floats right into the fireplace.
She goes, no.
And she goes, "Yeah, my Christmas present."
That's exactly what the grandmother does.
And I was like, "Oh my God, she's so evil."
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Okay, I wonder, is the grandma like, I don't know, being the like person you need at that moment? Or maybe she's old because Irene can see like the good and beauty and like unexpected places. And I don't know. I'm not sure.
I I don't know. I feel like George MacDonald, he he left a lot of loose ends here. He answered a lot of questions that we didn't care about, and then he didn't answer the questions that I needed to know.
We need less feet, more fairy.
Yeah, literally.
Okay, so I did have a question for you. Maybe we could answer this about the mother or the grandmama, but I thought it was interesting how he had a lot of descriptions about like this is what a princess does, and like Curdy was a good,
Yes.
courageous boy. And so I was curious, what did you think about his description about like what a princess should be?
Um,
Did you
okay.
like the general idea? Not?
So why don't you describe what a princess should be?
Okay. So there's a lot of things that come up throughout the book. In the beginning, it kind of felt more, it was like, oh, a princess is nice. And a princess listens to like her, elders, basically, like whatever they ask her to do, like she does it. There is this really good line though later on where okay, it says Lootie had very foolish notions concerning the dignity of a princess, not understanding that the truest princess is just the one who loves all her brothers and sisters best, and who is most able to do them good by being humble towards them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where I feel like that's kind of like maybe the summation of what a princess is.
Mm-hmm.
And we see Irene she's really courageous. She saves Curdy. She's very nice, very loving, very sweet and tender, very innocent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What
So
would you add?
yeah,
Or do you think
I
that's
would agree.
the description?
I think that's the right description. I think my take on it is that I like some of the concepts, but also another part of the concepts is there's a lot of like inherent gender stereotypes.
The
Like Prince,
1870s.
yeah, but I mean it's it's a product of the time. So it is, that's part of it. But so seeing that you're kind of like, okay, a princess is, quiet and she's this and she's that and
Yeah.
so that, but and this was part of the foreword that was in the book by Ursula Le Guin. And
Mm.
what she said that she really liked about the book is that anyone can be a prince or a princess via your actions.
I like that.
Yeah. And I like that too. And if we're thinking about the author recap with George MacDonald, who started off in like that Calvinist type of perspective, where people were pre-selected, either you're in or you're out, similar to like a prince or a princess. either you're born a princess or you're not born a princess. And it kind of sounds like here he's kind of saying anyone can be.
Mm, yeah. I like that.
So,
Because
yeah.
he mentioned some lines too about how Curdy is very prince-like. He's like, he
Yeah.
might even be a prince because he's just so courageous.
Yes,
Stuff like that.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Hmm. I like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think I kind of agree. There's some parts where I was like, especially in the beginning, when the kind of what the last line we said about the grandma, where it's like the grandma asked her to come inside and lock the door behind her. And it was like, because Irene was a princess, she did as she was told and listened to grandmama. And I was
Hmm.
like, and so the line I wrote down was like, oh, so princesses listen to their elders, or no, what did I write down? I said, oh, princesses follow directions and don't worry about strangers.
I know. That was the one where I was like, okay, you gonna get snatched, girly girl.
I know. But
That
everything
goblin's gonna tell
else,
you, come into my
yeah,
cave. And she go, okay.
okay. I know. But also I'm thinking about like if you're reading this like a 5-year-old or something, you're like, princesses listen to grandma. And I'm like,
Hmm.
yeah, I would that's a general idea I'd want a 5-year-old to have.
I could also see if you're the author of the creator of fantasy wanting to also embed lessons so that
Yeah.
you could kind of be like, yeah, it's a little absurd and silly, but there's also like some meat to it.
Oh, yeah, I think that's a really good point. Where yeah, it's not just absurd for the sake of absurdity, but it's like here's some really good
Hmm.
like lessons and ideas that we're showing through fantasy.
Well, like a lot of fairy tales and like folklore and stuff like that, a lot of it is like ways to kind of teach children
Yeah,
norms or, you know, behavior type of things.
that's true. Like little fables.
Yes, exactly. So when Curdy's like going to spy on the goblins, he ends up getting caught and they lock him up. They have him in like a little alcove and then they pile it up with rocks so that he can't get
Right.
out. And they have like
Hmm.
just a little like air hole so that he can breathe. And so everyone's like, we're just going to starve him until he dies. And the queen is like, no, like if we starve him, there won't be any meat to eat off of him. And they're like, oh, he's not going to taste good. He's going to taste bad. And she's like, yeah, but what if we feed him to our little dogs and cats and pigs and small bears? They would enjoy him a lot. And then the king says, you are the best of housekeepers, my lovely queen, said her husband. Let it be so by all means. Let us have our people in and get him out and kill him at once. He deserves it.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, oh my God. And then they go to get Curdy, but then he starts rapping. He starts laying down a sick beat, and
Dropping
then
his
they all
rhymes.
dropping his rhymes, spitting his rhymes, and then they all crumble to the floor. And then he runs around stomping on their feet, and then he gets out.
I love it. Well, no, no. What happened? She saved Irene saves him from that one.
Oh yeah, Irene saves him from that
Yeah.
one. Maybe he got caught somewhere along the way.
Yeah, that happens another time. There's a lot of times for him to stomp feet and drop some sick beats.
Yes. Yeah. The queen sleeps in her rock shoes though, and I found that ridiculous.
I loved that her husband, who she called hubby, which I just think is so funny. She was Curdy said something like, well, Queen, if you don't actually have toes, why don't you take off your shoes and show everybody? And she's like, that's not very queen like of me. And then the husband's like, well, he kind of has a point. Your shoes kind of hurt me at night. And, and she's
And he
like,
says, I've never
no.
seen your feet.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You're so funny. I did like though, like going back to gender stereotype things, I felt like he kind of flipped it a little bit because the princess was saving Curdy a lot of the times.
That's
Curdy saved
true.
her too. But I liked how she was like, there's a line where it says like princesses aren't scared or something like that. And I was like, I
Hmm.
like that. She's also brave.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was funny when Irene goes to save Curdy and it's like they're like, oh, the goblins are in the other room. Meanwhile, they're like talking about all their plans and pushing all these rocks and like making all of this noise. And I'm like, how are they not waking up?
I know. Part of the fantasy.
Look at the picture of the six toes.
Oh my gosh.
That's the
At
Goblin
first, I saw
Queen.
just Irene. I was like, oh, she looks pretty. And then I looked back and I saw the goblin.
And she's pissed because she's like, oh my God, I have six toes. She has even more toes than normal people.
What happened to her?
I know. How they describe her, they're like, it sounds like she's a half goblin, half human or something.
Yeah, I think so. Something like that. Well, okay, according to my summary I found online, goblins are also people, but they have kind of like evolved into like less than people almost because they've chosen to like live underground and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why I was like, was she like a normal sun person and then she's been there so long she's kind of gone through half of the transformation or something? Or is it like her mom
Hmm.
was a sun dweller and then her dad? I don't know.
I'm not sure. We don't get a lot of backstory
No, we
for the
don't.
goblins here.
And their son's name is
That was
Hairlip.
awful. I did
I,
not like that.
I was like, what?
Gross. What? Why? Also mean.
I know.
That
So
made me
mean.
uncomfortable.
I didn't like that.
Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah.
like calling your son peg leg.
Oh my gosh.
Or like stutter. And you're like, no,
Come here, cross-eyed.
no. Come here, bucktooth. And you're just like, no. It's so rotten.
Oh my gosh.
I with Irene, I like part of me is like, oh, all the princess qualities, da 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 da. But how she treats Lootie, I really feel like is just unacceptable.
Yeah, did you find a line or a specific scene?
No, it was really just kind of the same one that
All of
you
it.
said. I just came to it. It's when Irene's like telling her and Lootie's like, you're speaking nonsense, which everyone's saying that. And then she's like, you are so rude, Lootie, that I will not speak to you again till you are sorry. Why should I when I know you will not believe me?
Oh my God.
And I'm just like, what? Oh my
And everyone's
God.
like, she's the sweetest little angel ever.
I know. I'm like, she's rotten. Like, I
Okay,
get it. She's
Lootie.
tired. She's tired of people not believing her, but like, my God.
Okay, Lootie throughout this whole thing, I feel like she's treated as like a second class citizen. Did you get that
She
impression?
is.
Yeah, and I was like,
Yes.
poor Lootie. And maybe that's part of like the fantasy trope thing or like fairy tale where it's like these people are good, these people are bad, and like Lootie just doesn't get it kind of thing. But I was like, oh, poor Lootie. She never really
Oh,
gets good things at the end either. I think she gets worse.
yeah. I feel like she gets fired at the end. She gets thrown under the bus by Irene at the end, where she's like, I wanted to give Curdy a kiss, and Lootie wouldn't let me keep my promises.
Oh yeah. Can you please tell Lootie that I was right and she was wrong? Oh my gosh. I think that's so funny. Okay, there was one line at the end of the book with Curdie and the king where okay, so first, the goblin's first plan was to kidnap the princess and make her marry the prince, the goblin prince.
Yes.
And then
Hair lip.
Curdie successfully, yeah, Prince Hairlip. And, and then Curdie successfully thwarts their plan and saves the whole kingdom. Great. Their second plan, if that wasn't going to work, was to just flood the mines to kill all the miners because they thought that the miners were the most important people in the kingdom. And Curdie was like, you are mistaken, good sir. But we are the plebeians. But anyways, Curdie is able to save all the miners, and then he comes up with a plan. He's like, well, let's block this whole tunnel system so that then the goblins get drowned. Okay,
Yeah.
what happens at the end though is they're all having a nice, lovely day in the castle. They hear what sounds like an earthquake. Curdy says, "Oh no, we gotta go." Everybody runs out of the castle. They get out just in time to look back and see water spewing everywhere in the castle. And at that moment, I wrote down this line. It says, Curdy, let me, um, it says the readiest outlet of the water had turned out to be the tunnel they had made to the king's house, the possibility of which catastrophe had not occurred to the young miner until he had laid his ear to the floor of the hall. So basically, he floods the entire castle, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't think about that one."
And then he alerts everyone like Paul Revere, so they think he's the hero.
He's like, "Escape, everyone, escape." Okay. Oh, yeah, you go.
I was gonna say, and then all the goblins die and all their dead bodies start pouring out of the mine, drowned.
Into the, yes, they're like circling the drain inside the castle. Do they just leave the castle? Are they just like, we're gonna set up shop somewhere else now? Is
They
that
made
what
it
happens at
sound
the
like
end?
no, it made it sound like they cleared out those bodies and they said, "We live here now."
No, but I thought they were leaving because I thought it ended with um Irene and her dad going on their next adventure.
Okay,
I
so it ends, and this is one of like my last lines that I highlighted, is that the king's like, Curdy, you're gonna become a knight, and then he says, and after you've done some training, I have some other plans for you. And I'm like, well, that's hmm. And then
didn't
and
know what
then
that meant either.
Curdy's like, I'm gonna stay with my parents. He's like, I
He's
can't
like,
leave
I'm
my mom and
12.
dad. Yeah, and this is what yeah, he's 12. And this is what I underlined. So Irene said, "That's right, Curdy," cried the princess. "I wouldn't leave if I were you."
She's like, take it from me. Leave while you can.
She's like, "Your cottage is lovely."
I loved the dirt. That was all inside. Oh my gosh. Well, okay, so there's this line at the end there where they're looking back on the castle. Goblin bodies are pouring out of it, totally flooded. And, and then the princess is like, "Oh, should we go back for our things?" And like, "Oh no, much too dangerous." But then the king says, "Run, Curdy, my boy, and fetch anything you can lay your hands on to keep the princess warm." Because basically the king is like, she needs a jacket.
I
Does Curdy
know.
run all the way back inside to get
I
a
know.
jacket?
That didn't make sense. The house is burning down. Everyone's out, and the king's like, "Curdy, get back in there and get Irene a jacket. She's gonna be cold.
No.
She'll wear
And
your
Curdy's like,
dead
"Yes,
body."
sir."
Yeah. He runs right in.
What?
Oh my God. I know. I thought that was so, I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, children don't take that lesson.
The last two chapters, it might have been because I was power reading through it, but I was like, "What's happening?
It
Is this what I think is happening?"
it took 180 pages of setup and 40 pages for the whole house of cards to fall down. And you're just like, what? Because the queen had a skin shoe. And I was like, what is a skin shoe?
He never explained that one.
And one of the people were like, we're gonna cut out the skin around your toes and stitch them together so that it's
Oh my
one big foot. And I'm
gosh.
like, what? Is that her skin shoe? I was like, what's happening?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I didn't think about that. I thought it was like a sock that was skin colored, so it looked like she would have no toes.
Well, that would make sense.
But maybe you're right. Maybe they started doing the operation on her.
On her one exposed foot. Because she's still wearing her one granite shoe. Always. She's just
She
walking around
hobbles
hobbled.
around.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh man,
And then
what a
I
time.
guess it how it ends is that some of the surviving goblins they decide, all right, we're gonna live in the light, and then they become more human like over time.
Yeah. That's all it took. They were just
That's all it
vitamin D
took.
deficient. You're not you when you're deficient.
They have scurvy.
Yeah. All we needed was a doctor. We just
Some
wanted proper health
oranges.
care.
Yeah, for some proper health care. And that's the end of The
That's
Princess
the
and the
end.
Goblin.
I had a lot of fun talking about that.
I had a lot more fun talking about it than I did reading it. It was really hard for me to read it, but now that it's over, I'm glad that I did it.
I think this is a good one to be read out loud to a captive audience.
I would agree. I think it would do really well as a bedtime story.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that is the way it's meant to be read.
Okay, are we ready for after book games?
Yeah, I'm excited. We never did
Okay.
judge a book by its cover.
Oh, all right. Let's do it now.
Let's do it now. Your cover looks really modern. I bet that's new. I really like that cover, actually. I would read
I
that.
would I would totally read this.
Do you want to describe it?
Yeah, so it is kind of like a brown golden color and it's like silhouette style. And so you can see a beautiful princess. And I mean, this princess looks like she's 18. She does not look like
Oh, yeah,
she's
she looks very developed.
she looks very grown. Okay. And she's looking out into the distance, and you see mountains, and you see a cottage, and you see a castle. And then it kind of has like the princess and the goblin in like curly script. And then as you like scan down, you can see the caves. And then it looks like kind of like a Peter Pan type of guy. And he's just like popping around. And yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
think
that's a
those are
great
supposed to be the
description.
goblins. Those look like the
Maybe,
miners.
yeah, maybe they're minors. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. That is a little hard to tell. I'm not sure. But I feel like there would
Yeah.
have to be a goblin on there. Don't you think? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Anyways.
really like that cover. I
Yeah.
think it's better
Yeah.
than some of the earlier ones.
What are some of the earlier ones?
Let me share my screen. Okay. So we have one where it's little blonde princess girl following this uh what is that string,
It's a
but then you see the little
string.
goblins in the little
Yeah.
cave. Do you know what
Yeah.
this picture of?
No.
The three little figs.
What?
What a throwback.
Some of our childhood best friends, Casey and Chelsea, they had this joke book and they had this one joke. And Casey found it so funny. So then I found it so funny. Then you found it so funny. And it's the dumbest joke you'll ever hear.
Think we need to say it.
Say it.
All right, what grows on trees and is scared of wolves?
The three little figs. And we were
Honestly, it's pretty good.
it is pretty good, but we would get like the giggles like when you're like in middle
Mm,
school, elementary, where like you just for whatever reason you just can't stop laughing.
yeah,
Probably like
this was it.
yeah, your hormones are out of whack and your body's like, I need serotonin now. And it's like,
Deliver.
yeah, it's like I need you to laugh for 45 minutes. It's a really bad joke.
We're still laughing about it 20 years later.
20 years later.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. All right, that's one cover. Another cover is Blonde Princess with a giant ring hanging from the sky, it looks like. And she's like holding onto it with her hand and she's following a string. That's not how I imagine that, I'll be honest.
That's totally wrong. Wrong
Yeah, I don't think they read the
interpretation.
book.
No.
You know what? Maybe those little okay, now we're back to the cover Candy has. Maybe those are goblins
Those might
actually,
be
because
goblins.
those don't look like people.
They have like I thought they had like a bandana, but they all have the same like quote unquote bandana because it's a silhouette. So I think those are ears.
Yeah, I think those little like devil horns.
Yeah.
Those are definitely goblins. Yeah. There's a lot of covers. They've had like 200 years to think about this, but I think the one you have would is the most enticing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we judged it.
Judged. Been judged. Okay.
Done.
All right. So this is the princess and the goblin. Okay. Good message or theme?
I'd say 5.
I'd say 5 too. Well, I'm going to say 4.5 because there was a couple missteps along the way.
Strangers.
The strangers, Irene kind of being nasty to Lootie
That's
and
true.
and
That's
still being
true.
praised as the little princess.
Yeah, maybe it is a 4.5.
I mean, don't let me sway you. Your gut was a
I don't
5.
know. It's pretty good though overall.
All right, keep it a
It's
5.
tough to say.
Okay, writing style.
Overall, I mean, I thought some of the dialogue was so funny. Okay, I'll change the last one to 4.5. I'll make this one a 5.
Okay. I I'm gonna give this a 4.5 because I liked I liked the writing style. It was very how it was written is very different, very old school, obviously, because it was written in the 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
But there were some times where I was like struggling to follow it.
Yeah, I get that.
Like it felt like it was written confusing sometimes, and I didn't like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay, character depth.
I don't think there's meant to be character depth.
All right, so what
Um,
would you say?
I don't know. Uh, let's see here. Maybe 4.5. I think for Irene is
Chrissy said, I don't think there's any character depth. 5.
well, because but I don't think this is the type of story where there's supposed to be character depth.
Okay. All right, you
I
can
guess you
move.
could say that about Frida too,
Yeah.
but I don't say 4.
Oh, okay. I would say 3. There was some character depth, right? So like Curdy didn't believe Irene, and
That's
then
true.
he realizes, oh, I should have believed her because his mom was like, she got you out of the
That's a good
mine,
point. Yeah, I like that.
and so that I guess Irene has some
She was multifaceted.
she was
A little
multifaceted and she
jerk.
definitely yeah, she developed from like a sweet little girl into kind of like a rotten teenager by the end, but everyone liked it. Okay. Lands the plane.
I was a little confused by the end, but I still felt like satisfied. I was like, okay, so I'll say 4.
Okay. I'll give it a 3. I felt the same way. Like the plane
Why is he getting the
landed.
jacket?
uh, It it definitely felt like the cursed deadline of I wrote 200 pages and my God, I'm running out of paper or something and I need to wrap this up. But, it was a satisfying ending, all those things. Okay.
I think so.
Other category, anything you would like to bestow?
Um, I kind of feel like all the things were said. Um, well, I feel like okay, it was written like 200 years ago or what?
Mm-hmm.
100, however
200,
long ago. It was
well,
right.
he
Is
was
that what
born 200
he was
years ago,
born?
so
Like
150
I don't know,
years ago, let's
150.
say.
Yeah. And like we enjoyed it and we had things to talk about. And I would totally read this, like to our
Mm-hmm.
nieces, or if we have kids in the future, read it to them. And so I feel like 4.5 for that.
You're
Timeless
giving it some
factor.
staying power.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll give it a 4. I think for similar reasons of it being somewhat timeless,
Mm-hmm.
even after all this time. There's a couple things that feel a little dated, but it's like overall, it's like the story is pretty good.
Yeah.
I do think this book would probably be best read aloud.
I think so.
And I think it would be best read in small chunks.
I think you're right.
I think trying to consume it in one sitting is
A
not the
lot.
way to read it.
Yeah. Yeah. Trying to read it on the metro on your phone was not my best choice.
No, that's not what you need.
Yeah.
Okay. So you ready?
4.15.
Ah,
Ah.
4.15. Yeah, I
Okay, I
mean,
feel like 4.15. What do
yeah,
you think?
that feels
Accurate?
right. Yeah,
That feels about right.
that feels right.
Yeah, I like it. You want to hear something even crazier?
Yeah.
The people on Reddit agree. Everyone loved it. They said, I love that book. So good. Staying power,
Wow.
nostalgia, great message. So sweet. Love it.
Hmm.
And I have never seen that kind of response on Reddit before.
Yeah.
So,
I think there's definitely something about the nostalgia.
yeah. And I think I like how innocent it is. Like the grandma isn't creepy because your grandma shouldn't be creepy. You know, like in the
The grandma
story, she's
was
not
creepy.
evil, but she's not evil. She's a beautiful, loving, wonderful grandma who takes care of everybody. Like she
Not if
isn't
I
like
wrote the
if
book.
you're okay, but no, if you're reading this to a 5-year-old, the 5-year-old
That's
wouldn't think the
true.
grandma's creepy, you know?
That's true. That's true.
And I really like that. You're like you just get to be in a world where it's like you can just get rid of all the monsters by stomping on their feet and spitting some rhymes. I love
Yes.
that. I love
Yes.
that world.
Okay. Cool. Well, we will
This was
see you
fun.
next time with a
Yeah.
special episode talking about Frida McFadden.
Our favorite lady. I would
Our
love for her to
favorite.
email us back.
I know. We sent her that email and she didn't respond back. I hope she did. I hope she knows that we love her.
I
I feel
know. I
like
hope
I
she
worry
liked
she
it.
thinks that we don't.
She's probably just busy with her big movie deal.
I hope so.
I think that's it.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. Please make sure to just take a little bit of time, follow us on Spotify, give us a 5-star review. As I mentioned before, we are in need. Send us some
Yeah.
note. We have a lot of polls.
Yes, I love our polls. Life of Addie LaRue, part one. The poll is very hot. Still kind
Yes.
of a contentious debate. There are 31 votes. 58% of the people say yes, they would make a deal with the devil. So they'd get out of raising 6 kids.
I'm telling
42%
you,
say no.
I'm telling you right now, people don't want to raise 6 kids.
We should ask our kindred Kindles friend.
Oh, wow. What a good question. We asked
Make
them
them
75 polls.
whether you just and on this one. Who's the least likable character of this book you haven't read?
They say, okay, will you open your phones to Spotify? We need you to fill in some
Leave a rating while you're there.
polls.
Okay, I did ask one of my friends this poll question about raising 6 kids, and she said, I mean, could I wish for a fairy godmother instead? And I said, what a great third option.
I know.
Thinking outside the box.
Nope.
Not today.
Ugh.
Okay,
All right. Well, this has been
bedtime.
great.
Been super fun. I know. I've
Yeah.
missed potting.
I know. I missed it too. Well, we'll see
Yeah.
you Sunday.
Yeah, that's super exciting. All
Okay.
right. I'll be
Bye.
there. See you
Love
later.
you.
Bye. Love you.